A major problem globally, even here in Nigeria, with conflicts like armed banditry and kidnapping in key producing areas. Poverty, climate change, inflation, and rising food prices are some key drivers of this alarming trend. According to a food report, more than 31.5 million Nigerians have faced severe food shortages and scarcity this year alone. How then can this be addressed? Joining us to discuss the importance of locally grown foods is the founder, Canadian Black Farmers Association, Tony Ajayi. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to the program. All right, so you are a Nigerian based in Canada, but let's just begin with your assessment of the situation here in Nigeria, talking about food security, how farmers can boost production so we are self-sufficient as a country. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm talking from Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm actually at our Karakata Africa Village farm, where we are experimenting a lot of Nigerian vegetables and crops. When we talk about Nigeria, what I see about Nigeria food insecurity is our people, our own local people, how we've not been really trying to look into producing a lot of our own food locally. And we've been depending on so many international, like a canned packaged foods. I remember those days when they say, during I think it was in the 80s, there's Operation Feed the Nation. Any country, any nation that does not focus on agriculture, on how to grow the food and how to make that food get into the market and get to the people that really needed it. If a program like that kind of like lag behind and the government is not putting emphasis on it, definitely food insecurity is gonna be a big issue, which is right now globally. Food insecurity is everywhere globally. So about Nigeria, another area which I discussed this with somebody that came from Nigeria to visit us to see what we are doing here. Recently, I said one of the biggest reasons why in Nigeria food the prices of food are going up in Nigeria. Part of the reasons is because most of the food that are able growing in Nigeria now, most people are just pretty much exporting it out of Nigeria, because you see all about this japa. When most of our people when they get to abroad, what happens is 90 to 95% of our people, when they are in abroad, they still depend on the food that comes from Nigeria for them to feed here. So all those food that are being exported out of Nigeria is also causing food insecurity, and down the road, making the food prices go up because everybody is just chasing the money, how to get it out. So to me, I feel like for the government to improve, to come on board like hands-on, government need a hands-on on incentivizing. Like here, the government, our Canadian government, they incentivize. They have a program like when as a farmer, if you're a farmer, you grow something, there's a support. The direct support to actual, real, hands-on farmers, not just crash course farmers. Some farmers are just about, it's all about the profit. But I know it's about profit, but at the same time, there should be incentives. If there's incentivized farming in Nigeria, I'm sure a lot of those anything about food insecurity and food prices going up will be reduced. So that's what I can say a little bit about Nigeria right now. Although we have a lot of different issues in Nigeria about why people don't want to farm, but that is not all about it. That shouldn't stop people not to farm, because when there is no food on the table, when there is food on the table, poverty is far away. But when there's no food on the table, A lot of people, there's a problem. And where there's no farmer, when there's less farmer, I guarantee you that country, any nation like that, with no farmer, with more and more dwindling number of farmers, definitely we have a big issue with food insecurity.
All right. So, could you help us understand what you meant by when Nigerians, those who are into jackpotting, those who are outside of the country, are still depending on the food from home? Isn't that supposed to be an opportunity for Nigerians to make more money when it comes to exporting of this farm produce to these countries? Because I understand that when you are out there, you want to eat your own food. Because I remember each time I found myself out of the country, eating Nigerian food at that time is usually like gold. So shouldn't this supposed to be an opportunity for us to make more money?
Yes, but at the same time, when we look at it, are we even keeping track of how much food we are producing in Nigeria? How much are going out? I don't think our government is keeping track of it. You see, here, everything is about data. What are we producing locally here? Let me just take you a little back. The reason why I created Canadian Black Farmers, and you know what's funny? I'm a Nigerian, I'm from Ekiti State. And because from my childhood, I've been farming. And I look at food as a Yoruba, that word was
You have to translate that.
System.
You have to translate that for non-Yoruba
Okay,
speaking
I'll
audience.
go back. They say, okay, let me speak broken. They say, if food, no day table. If food day table, if you can bring food to the table, poverty that's
reduced,
less poverty.
largely.
It's reduced. It's largely. But when there's no food on the table, while I don't bust. So those words are part of what really motivated me to do what I did in Canada, to create the Canadian Black Farmers. The purpose of that is, when I look at it, we are the most vulnerable. Africans are the most vulnerable in Canada or in any Western world. I said this on my last interview here. I said, what if anything happens and those containers or cargoes that are coming from Africa, if you can't come to this side? And like my brother said, what if you get here, you can't find those food? Why are we not trying to grow it locally here? Why are we not trying? By means trying to start to grow it locally. The Canadian government saw that, and they came to me and said, oh, we like this project. We would like to see how we can work together. You see, that same thing that just happened, I just said, if the same thing is happening back home with our government, saying, hey, somebody is trying to create a solution for this food scarcity. How can we support that? Incentivizing from our government. You see, those food that we are bringing here, because 90 to 95% of us here that are here, we still depend on that food. By the time the food get here, look at the cost. Look at all the environmental impact that those things cost before you get here. Our community is one of the lower income in this country. Guess what? We'll be buying the little money you are making. You'll be using it to buy just a meager of something that came from back home, just for you to have that food. And as a matter of fact, 5 years ago, I decided to create the African Food Bank, because I know many of our people cannot afford those food. So whatever I grow from the farm, I send it to my food bank, and the food bank will be able to supply our people that does not have enough money to buy those food. So by bringing those food here also, and where are we taking it from? We're taking it from back home. And the people that are back home, they don't even have enough yet to feed. And I'm not stopping our maybe exporting or whatever, I'm against it, but there should be a little bit of monitoring or control on those exports, because everything just getting shipped here. Now, last week here, the Canadian government are changing that policy a lot. A lot of food will not be able to enter here very soon.
Why?
So because a lot of food that they allowed before, now they are changing. I'm sure if you are paying attention, about a lot of policies have been changed. I've been here. I've been farming in Canada for 21 years, and I've been here for like 24 years. And since I've been in this country, every time different policies comes out. This is part of the reason why I say, if we keep going like this, what if we get to a day one day, oh, yam cannot enter Canada anymore because we found something in it. Beans cannot enter. I have witnessed it. I've been to the port. Somebody brought a whole container of beans, and they found a beans beetle. One. Guess what happened to the whole container of that beans? Dump. They dumped it. So growing it locally here is that's one of the solutions I'm creating. And if we have those kind of food that we are growing back home, that we are shipping here, if we can have it in surplus the way we are growing it, we have it in surplus to be able to supply our larger community. A lot of our food, we have a lot of land to grow anything. Look at me here. I only have 5 months in a year to grow naturally. Back home, you can grow any time of the year, anytime, all round. We have the opportunity. Then we can also grow surplus of those food. And at the same time, like I said, I'll go back again. If the government can create like incentives to get people to farm, secure a little bit security, I would say we can secure ourselves. We can secure ourselves. Many people stay farming there, but if it can be incentivized, I think a lot of things will really work out really fine, and the food insecurity will be greatly reduced.
In talking about incentivization, if you look at Nigerians farmers, they always struggle with limited access to affordable credit. So from your perspective, what kind of financial models or policies could support small-scale farmers to enhance agricultural inputs? Or can Canada's cooperative farming system help offer a template for Nigerians?
Oh, me, a 21-year experienced Canadian farmer, a lone farmer actually. I'm the only black farmer. I've never met another Nigerian farmer in Canada. There's always challenges for farmers worldwide. You see,
what's
the
the unifying
here,
factor? Apologies, you will still get to answer that question, but what's the unifying factor binding global farmers globally?
It's weather, and also a lot of food are being GMOized. Farming is now becoming like a corporate thing. Corporate. The unifying factor about the farmer worldwide is farmers barely make a lot of money because once there's one weather changes, one little movement of the weather, everything is messed up. What you've grown, what you think of is going to be like, especially for our very sensitive weather here. I don't think the factor for Africa or Nigeria is the same as here. For our rigid and very stubborn weather, very sensitive, a little 1 or 2 day rain can destroy your whole year crop. You don't know. There's so many unknowns. Every year, every day is different. As a farmer, the one thing I have seen about farmer that I've seen here, that I think our own government can also emulate or follow is to work hand in hand to create, like for here now we have we call it FCC, Farm Credit Canada. See, Farm Credit Canada is just mainly for farmers. They will come to you. They will check what you are doing. The credits will be there. Okay, what do you need? And if you grow one crop this year and they realize that crop really did well, they will say, okay, do you want to expand next year? They will provide the credit for you. That is one way that I see is making it working here. Not 100% even working that much, because right now a lot of farmers are retiring, and we think we have a farmers crisis in Nigeria. In Canada now, it's insane. We have 60% people leaving farm agricultural industry, only 5% getting in. Even the Canadian government is looking for farmers now. which is part of the reason why we created the program we are doing now. Underlying thing I've seen both sides everywhere globally, there is no way a farmer will survive without the support of their immediate government, working hand in hand with them. Without that, I don't see. It will be very difficult because 1 year on, 1 year off. I can lose few goats or lose few goats in my herd now, or lose few cows in the other field. What happened? We don't know. I'll be sitting in the back of my farm, and a coyote, a cougar, that's the North American lion, grabbed my goat and took off. My dog cannot get there in time.
So if you look at some of the things you've painted, it looks like Nigeria is not the only one facing food crisis in the world. Well, Canada has a way of going around this issue so that they will have food sufficiency for the Canadians. But what are some of the things that you think Nigeria can learn from Canada when it comes to maybe cultural, what's it called, collaborations, a cultural export system, mechanization, policies and all of that you think we can adopt in this country that will better the lot of Nigerians when it comes to agricultural produce?
One of the things I see here is that, in Nigeria, we grow, when we grow, we sell. What we do here, like for me now, let's say I grow my goats, they get to mature age, they're slaughtered, I take their fat, I turn it to goat cooking oil. The meat goes to somebody else. I go to sold, and then the goat cooking oil, they can use it for frying. That's another product. We're not just growing it. The value, down the value chain, you grow, you package, you can process as a farmer. Because everything starts from farm, and especially growing it organically. And I will go to this area, I will come to that area a little bit. You see, when we grow it, the value we can have today, what we are growing, is very important. Like Nigeria now, we grow let's say our cocoa. How many of it are being produced in Nigeria? Our cashew nuts. Okay, are they now being produced a lot more and packaged and shipped out? Yes, I guess a lot of those are being added now. Value added to whatever we grow is very important. That is one of the things I see here. Here, we don't just grow it. You grow, you add value to it down the road. People will get processing, packaging. Then we get another person who is transporting it to the consumers. So all those things are very important. All those areas are very key and they're very important. Like in Nigeria now, I did a case study 3 years ago. I said Nigeria should be one of the most cheese producing country in the world, or yogurt, because most our stuff are organic. Our animals, they are the foragers. Our cows, they grow in the wild. We should be producing cow cooking oil, goat cooking oil, which I do here with my animals, with my herd, with my livestock. I don't see that. Now I'm starting that in Nigeria now. So value we can add to a lot of things that we don't even know. But let me go to this one. Even like for example, now, like my state, Ekiti State, I spoke with some of the people there. I said there's $1 billion industry in Ekiti State, but we don't know. We are working all over it. They said what? The herbs and plants that we have locally, the West is going after that now. They don't take paracetamol or all those drugs, all those people will throw it. They are going into natural way of living. Guess what we have back home? All those herbs, all those tree barks, all those deals down the road. They are going after that now. Okay, for example, I asked somebody, I said, have we ever seen cashew juice? Why is no cashew juice in the store? I looked at last year. So many times they would throw away because cashew was so ripe. They would just throw it away. I made agbaluma wine here this year. I brought agbaluma from Nigeria, and I made the wine. Somebody said, is that possible? I said, why not? Adding value to live. See, the way Nigeria is right now, We can be packaging our garden egg, canning it. We can be having cashew wine, orange wine. Why are we not doing that? Why don't we have a cheese factory?
Right.
Why don't we have a yogurt factory?
Right. Tony, where is the place of research in all of this? Because that's also what our local experts, what our experts here, food security experts have also been speaking, and you having knowledge on both divides, Nigeria, Canada experience, how much difference can research do to enhance food production in Nigeria?
I'll tell you one thing. I think we believe a lot about research. Yeah, the research is good, but those things have been working before. You know, we know it, right? Like for example, if you say research, okay, we want to develop cheese, we want to develop this wine. Process of making wine. You can Google it right now and make wine at your home. As I'm telling you right now, every information. It's right there. Maybe because of the availability of things around here. We don't do research like that here. I've never done research. I started creating goat cooking oil right from my farm, and people are buying it. Our own people in our own community, they didn't believe it's possible. I said, yeah, that's the goat cooking oil, and we call it tallow. You can Google what I'm just saying. I'm starting that production in Nigeria now. Research, not much. Research is in the palm of your hand. I'm talking to you now from my home right now. Before, everybody would carry camera, right? They would carry everything to come and film you in those days. But now, everything is in the palm of your hand. All I'm saying right now, with the little knowledge that I've acquired here, for me, I said, I always tell people, I say, can we just find a way? Just information is the key right now. The more information you get, and you start doing something with it. We don't need to package something, whatever. I don't. There's a tree back in my village. They call it Igi. It's Ira tree. The bark. That Ira tree. I did this research on it. I said this Ira tree can be one of the best lozenges in the world. Fruit lozenges, because Ira tree, what it does. I don't need a researcher to do that. I can grind it, and then if I have a phlegmy, if I have a sore throat, I will just lick it and lick it and put it, just swallow it. Guess what? Give it a day or two, it's done. What is the lozenges? When you have a sore throat, you take a lozenges and you lick it, right? And gradually, I take a week or two before it goes, but Ira, or maybe other tree barks in our very, very local village area. All those things are billions. You see, these are the areas we don't even looking at. We're not even looking at it. Everything we have back home is money. Is money, like money. The Asians, I got here and said, why are these people selling this? Guess what? They packaged it. I sent a letter to somebody in the state. I said, hey, let me host my state.
Right.
I want to host exhibition here in Canada.
Right.
To exhibit our local herbs.
Right. It's so sad when we get to hear, people of intellect like yours, telling us that we are sleeping, we are dining, we are walking around, we are cutting, throwing away monies, just the way we could have probably tapped from it and make, a kill from these natural resources that we are endowed with in the country. But what exactly, as a leader in the Canadian agricultural sector, how can diaspora communities like yours, although you say you are the only black among the whites that are farming, how can you support food security initiatives in Nigeria, tap into some of the natural resources that we have, and then utilize this to the benefit of the entire nation, whether through technological transfer, funding, or partnerships, or what have you? What exactly do you think is currently ongoing, or what do you think we can do better?
Just the way we are talking right now, right? This will get it to a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people empowered with some of this.
Talking alone, I'm afraid, may not necessarily, handle this situation, because we'll be talking for ages.
Yes, true that. But you know what? With the power, we have a tool in our hand now. I'm sure there will be some people who have interest. I have been doing this for more than 15 years, saying this same, people that knows me will like, this guy has been talking about this for so long. See, as I am here, that's one of the things I did. I told my brothers, I said, you stay in Nigeria. I am going to keep buying farmland. You guys will understand the reason why I keep buying this farmland and what I want to, the purpose of doing it. Because I want to be able to be on the ground. It will because of the project I'm doing for the Canadian government and for the black community generally across Canada now, that I'm creating, is the reason why I'm not still in Nigeria quite often. I really want to make sure that our people see what we have and then see how we can turn that into a global phenomenon whereby people that really needs it, we can get it to there where they will need it, and how it will benefit us back in Nigeria, and how we create wealth, sustainable economy and wealth for our people. That is what I'm working on. And I'm hoping to meet anyone who is interested. And even without me, there are many of our people that study in school, that study all this plant science and everything. Many of them, when they hear something like this, I'm not sure, maybe we are not taught how to turn that into practicality and turn it to a product or a production. Maybe that's what we are lacking from our own education system. But right now, as I'm talking, there are many more like me who understand what I'm saying like this now. And all we just have to do is to be proactive. We say it, but being proactive and working towards taking a baby step. We don't have to run. Baby step. One first step. Okay. That plant, what does it do? Okay. Let's go. Create an initiative. Let's walk into our bush. Let's name and find out what are these things for. Let's go to those old papa in the village. When they look at a leaf like this, any plant, they say, oh, that will make, if you have a headache, take it. Why are we not capitalizing on that? Oh, that's it. If you take it, oh, this is what this does. Because our great-grandparents, do you know they live more than us? They live like 100 years, 110. Right. What are they eating?
All right. Toyin Ajayi, we've run out of time, but we thank you very much for speaking with us in your capacity as a farmer, a Canadian farmer, a Nigerian Canadian farmer, and the founder of the Canadian Black Farmers Association. We thank you very much for your time with us.
Thank you very much. Hope we'll see you again.
Right.